All right, we are back for another one today in our Hardware 4 Model Y. We are on FSD 14.2.2.5. Still been a while since we've had a major update. Supposedly, this update does follow hand signals, although I've actually had pretty good luck with hand signals from like officers and stuff or construction workers in the past. So it usually does pretty good, especially if they have like a sign that's stop sign versus a slow or whatever. But they also do hand signals and stuff. Usually it's pretty good about following them, but supposedly in this update it is supposed to be better about that. I don't know, but we are going to go down to downtown Kennesaw and stop at a few different locations. We've done this on previous versions of FSD, and still most of the time the problem is that the navigation is a little bit weird and it doesn't end up parking in exactly the place, the location that we would expect it to. So I suspect that's still going to be the case because we still do not have the updates for autopilot or for FSD for the navigation and parking options. So there's supposed to be better parking quality and more parking options. So I think that means you'll be able to, like, say you want to park in the front of the parking lot or in the back of the parking lot or whatever. So maybe some more options on that regard. Right now, I did have to put it in Mad Max on that street there before just to get it to go the speed limit because it thinks that it's 30 miles per hour back there and it's actually 45. So putting it in Mad Max is the only way to get it going. We are going to look for a parking lot at this first destination. May not have a lot to say on the way there. Pretty easy going, but if anything comes up, of course, I will mention it. But before that, I did want to talk about the Cybertruck a little bit and that whole situation. So they did raise the price today. This is Sunday, March 1st. They did raise the price to $70,000 on that $60,000 Cybertruck, and I did place an order yesterday, so I am able to get the $60,000 price if I am able to follow through with that order next year. Hopefully it's going to be next year and I'll be able to actually get that Cybertruck. Otherwise I'll be out the $250, or possibly I can change that to be a different vehicle. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Hopefully a lot of things can change in a year and maybe I'll be in a better position to get that Cybertruck. I definitely wanted a Cybertruck since 2019. We did place that. I actually placed 5 reservations for that original Cybertruck when it was announced in 2019. Didn't follow through with any of them because it never came down to the price that I was hoping it would, and didn't get the range that we were hoping for, because I originally was hoping to get that $70,000 version with 500 miles of range, and that has never come to pass. But this whole debacle this last week about the Cybertruck, it got announced at 60,000, and then Elon posted about how it wasn't going to be 60,000 for long, and then we'll see what the price is going to be, and then finally they officially announced it on the website that the price was going to increase on March 1st, and then they took away the FSD transfer so that you couldn't transfer FSD to the vehicle if you had purchased it or ordered it by the end of March. Now you have to take delivery of the car before the end of March, which obviously none of those Cybertrucks are going to be delivered until June. So that took that out of the equation, the FSD transfer, which was a big hit. And honestly, that was one of the biggest things that was making me want to order it, because I could get that FSD transfer a year from now, which would have been really great, to have that fully purchased FSD in that car at that time. But unfortunately, they took that away. They also took away the $1,000 for the referral discount. So if you were going to have a referral code to order your Cybertruck, the $60,000 one, they took that away, so you would not get the $1,000 discount on it. So I don't think you really get anything from the referral code. Maybe you get some free FSD for a few months. That's possible, but other than that, it doesn't look like you get really anything. And so they really had to disincentivize people to be ordering it, because they clearly got a lot of orders for that $60,000 Cybertruck. Although we'll have to see what the production is going to be like and how fast or how many they're going to be building. We don't really know how many reservations they got. So will be interesting to see that. I'm sure it will slow down a lot now that it is $10,000 more than that original price. So yeah, a lot of things going on with that over this last week. So I think $70,000 for that standard Cybertruck all-wheel drive is still a pretty good deal as compared to a lot of trucks with the same specs, because you're talking about a full-size truck that can do some decent hauling, as well as it has all-wheel drive in 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. It has over 320, I think it's 325 miles of range. So it's a very capable, it's a great truck. But, you know, now it's a little bit more in line with what you would get from, like, say, a nice ICE truck that you could get, like a Ford Raptor or something like that. So those trucks are still in the like $80,000 range, but there's not as much market for those trucks. But the performance wise, 4.1 seconds 0 to 60 and all that, and you combine that with it being electric and being so much lower maintenance, it's actually still a pretty good deal at the $70,000. But we'll see. Hopefully they will increase production of all of the Cybertrucks, and maybe they can just kind of lower all of them, the price wise, a little bit, so it's competitive for all trucks. But yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes. So we're going to try today. I'm going to try most of the drive in chill, hoping that that works well. Again, I just had to do Mad Max there for a little bit on that one road where it did have the wrong speed limit. So I think most of the around town stuff, it's going to be fine in sloth or chill, because it won't have an opportunity to go really even as fast as whatever the speed limit is in most of these cases, because we're going to be kind of going around the small town. So we will see there. So now I'll just let it kind of do its thing here, and probably check back in once we get closer to our first destination. All right, so we are getting close to the destination. I will say that already, when we originally mapped it out, it was going to go into the correct area. It was going to go into this parking lot up here, and instead it is going over here. So this is actually not the correct spot, because it is actually up the hill from this actual location. Although there might be another entrance here that we could have gone into, but if we park where it says we're going to park right now, it's actually not at the destination that I want it to be at. So that's unfortunate. Again, we're not really going there, and it's actually not even open today, I don't believe. But, pretty annoying that it would get that wrong. So we'll just continue on, see what it does here. Yep, so it's putting a turn signal on already, so definitely looks like we're going to be going up here. We'll see how it does parking, but not where I'd want to be if I was actually going to this destination. Yep. So we can see that the location we want to be is actually down that hill. There is no way to walk there from here. I did indicate that I want it to be on the parking lot. I wonder if we just change it to curbside. I'm going to change it to curbside right now. Let's see if it changes its mind about how it's going to do this. Okay, all right. Let's see if it does curbside instead. So, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what's this direction. Oh, maybe you can get to it over here. Maybe you can. Doing the curbside instead of the... Oh, yes, there is. There is a whole nother parking lot over here. So this would actually be a good spot to park. This is a bigger parking lot. So this is actually where probably you're supposed to park. I didn't even realize. But changing it to curbside allowed it to go to more of the correct location. Now that we're in the right spot, I'm going to switch it to parking lot. Oh no, it's going to leave this parking lot. This is a parking lot. Just park here. Let's see what it's going to do. Is it going to park? Just park. We're right here. Oh man. All right, back to curbside. Nope. I've really messed it up. I definitely think it was going to actually end up being in the right location there, which is unfortunate. That it just... Yeah, it just doesn't really understand that this parking lot is actually not for that building. So that's fine. We'll just see what it does here. If it parks, and then we'll just move on. Seems like it should park. But that way we can just continue on to the next destination. All right. Yep. So still doesn't really understand the parking lot for this particular location, unfortunately. So we will just move on. But it is interesting. If I did the curbside, I could actually get it into the parking lot that I wanted it to be in, but then it just wasn't going to be parked. It was just going to stop there in front of the building, which, I mean, if it was a robotaxi, that would be fine. But since we are still supervising this FSD and we still have to park the car while we are at our destination, it's not very helpful at the moment. All right, are we gonna go? Yep, looks like we're gonna go. This person's letting us in, so that was nice. I waved. They definitely gave us space to get in here, so that was nice. And we could just go straight here. It seems like it wants to turn left for some reason. And here we should definitely stop before the tracks. I like how these people are, they're parked literally right under the railroad crossing arm. So if a train is going to come, they're going to either have to get on the tracks, get hit by a train, or they're going to get hit by that arm, or they're going to have to get these people to back up so that they can back up. I'm sure they would try to back up, but they're in a bad spot there. You should definitely, at railroad crossings, you should definitely stop before the white line so that you will not be in danger when there is a train. They may be rare, but I've seen trains here a decent amount, actually. All right, so we just need to go gently over this. This is actually pretty steep, the railroad tracks here going over it. But that was nice and smooth. So we did miss the turn arrow, but Well, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to go. I would probably go out in the intersection in anticipation of being able to go, but we're not going to do that, and we're not going to get the light, so we'll just wait for the next one, I guess. Traffic's kind of backed up here, though, so, I mean, it's a situation where you should probably be more aggressive. We do have it in chill. However, I don't know that chill is actually going to make any difference in a situation like that, as far as whether it's going to be more aggressive about, taking the intersection versus just waiting for the light. All right, we do have a green arrow. I was actually expecting those people to get crossing working. We've got some Girl Scout cookies for sale here. Having a big old thing at the corner. All right. So we have a little traffic circle. We usually don't have any problems with traffic circles, but actually the other day I did go through a traffic circle and it just navigated it wrong. So it instead of going the way that it said on the map, it just exited the wrong exit, and we ended up having to turn around and go back. So they're not always perfect on these roundabouts, but this one's pretty easy. All right, so up here, I've put this previous versions of FSD in this situation before, where the map or the navigation is saying to go up here and do a U-turn. It is nearly impossible to do a U-turn here unless you go very far to the right and then slowly go around. And it doesn't say you can't do a U-turn here, but you really should not do a U-turn here. So we will see what it's going to do on this version. It looks like it's going to try to do a U-turn. So that was dangerous. And we hit the curb. Wow. All right, so that was definitely wrong. It's amazing because the previous version of 14, I think it was 2.2.4. It might have been 2.2.3. I don't know, all these different versions of FSD. It decided not to do that U-turn. And that is the correct thing to do. You should not do that U-turn. We couldn't actually complete the maneuver because it's too tight and it didn't go far enough to the right to actually do the U-turn. And then we actually blocked traffic from behind us that was just going straight because, again, we shouldn't have been doing the U-turn. Again, there is nothing that says we can't do a U-turn there. What the heck? All right, I had to disengage. It's just going right into the bushes. What was that? Wow. All right, that's super annoying. So, previous versions 14 did not have a problem with this U-turn. It did not try to do the U-turn. It would just go past it, turn left, go around, and there's actually another entryway over there that we could actually come back into this parking lot. And then now it tries to drive into the bushes. Like, it were enough in the space, and it said take over immediately, yet it was the one in control. Like, it just needed to stop. It knew it was hitting the bushes. What on earth? I'm actually going to go check on what that looks like before we go to our next destination. Yep, so it was definitely actually in the bushes, and even after I had pulled forward a little bit, it was still pretty much on the bushes. I don't really know why it could not figure out. It's almost like it didn't recognize, the top of the car where it would be in the situation where it saw it with the camera as it was going into the space. So that was definitely a situation where we could use some better parking quality, which is, again, it's supposed to be in a future update, but yeah, we could use it now because that was pretty poor. So I should have disengaged, honestly, with the U-turn. Right from the U-turn, I should have just disengaged when it was going to try to do that. Previously, it just tried to do a left turn, and that was fine. But the U-turn, yeah, definitely not good there. Especially because we had to drive over the curb. I don't know. So bad. So, yeah, Weird. That seems like a regression to me because previous versions of 14 did not have a problem there. So pretty surprising. And definitely that parking quality because it just backed into a bush. It's so weird that it threw up the red hands, like take over immediately. It's like, what are you doing? Like, if you know you're about to hit the bush, then just stop. What? I don't even understand what the logic would be there. It's so weird. Anyway, I checked the car. It looks fine. Didn't have any scratches or anything. The bushes, they push back. So since there wasn't any like strong branch, thankfully it didn't scratch it or anything. But pretty surprising that it would do that. All right, next location is just a restaurant. This should be straightforward enough. As a parking lot, should be able to just park in the parking lot, no problem. Looks like we got it's a meter reader. That's weird. It's parked in the middle of the street. Strange. All right. We have had trouble in the past getting to this actual correct location, but we've also had success parking here. So hopefully it'll park in this parking lot with no problem. Yep, this works just fine. Confidently. No red hands, so we can just park here. That's fine. Yes, thank you. All right. Next destination. All right, so it has the next destination incorrect on the navigation. It seems to be like parking at a restaurant instead of parking at the park. It is actually supposed to be a park that we are going to. And since I'm not worried about this being a perfect drive anymore, I might just... Well, we gotta go now. I would have probably not gone in, but that's fine. No big deal. So it's going left. I'm gonna... Come on. I'm gonna just go ahead and push it to the right here. Yeah, there we go. Yep, this is the way I want to go. So this is a situation where I just don't like the navigation. And like I said, since I already disengaged earlier because it decided to run into the bush, I just went ahead and changed the navigation because we were going to end up parking at a restaurant, which there's probably not even parking available there, is my guess, because it's a small parking lot and a popular restaurant. But this way, we can actually get to the parking lot of the actual park that we're going to, Kennesaw Depot Park, and it should be just fine to go there. So let's just see if it just pulls into the parking lot like normal. And if so, I think we'll call this video there. I can't believe, though, that it had so much trouble with that parking earlier. Quite surprising. So yeah, it's still FSD supervised, and I don't know. It just decided that it was going to give up on parking correctly at that spot. A few spots here. We are going to park right next to a car that looks like they may be leaving. Okay. Well, that's fine. All right, I'm going to call the video there. All right, so that was pretty crazy how bad of a job it was parking there, and it really should not have done that U-turn back there. So a couple weird instances. This is definitely was not a zero disengagement drive. I definitely had to disengage in order for it to not just, I don't know how far it was going to go into those bushes, but I definitely had to disengage. It did say take over immediately, so I mean, I had to take over and then pull forward, but I don't know why it was trying so hard to back into those bushes. Very crazy. So that's unfortunate. And that U-turn, we definitely shouldn't be trying to do that U-turn, especially if you're going to have to do a 3-point turn in order to make that turn. That is a bad location to do a 3-point turn because you do have traffic coming from behind you, potentially in front of you. So you're suddenly blocking traffic both directions in order to do a maneuver that you really shouldn't be doing anyway. So that, I say, is a fail on FSD's part. And it's strange because I thought that was actually solved in previous versions of 14, and that seems like a regression. So anyway, interesting things happening in this particular drive. So that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.